Greetings, Valerie here, coming to you on Saturday, where I am. The post today is just because you can doesn't mean you can. This week, I have been working with a group of people, and we've just been looking at a concept called the Values Driven Diary. This is a stress management and resiliency group. And the second session we usually run looks at our diaries and takes a values-driven approach to figuring out, what do you say no to? Well, you first need to figure out what you can say yes to. And this is a normal reaction to this exercise, where once we've done it and we do an audit of what our day and a week looks like, we realize that we're probably doing too much. And the question very commonly comes up, well, what are we going to do? Because all of the things that we have committed ourselves are really, really important. Yesterday, I spoke about how when we burn out, sometimes it's not just about the roles that we have, but generally people with very strong convictions, people who care deeply, tend to get really exhausted. And that's usually because it's very, very hard to figure out, what you're going to say no to, because everything is of value and important. A related difficulty is when we don't have the time to reflect and have a degree of self-awareness to actually really figure out what is, for this season of life, important to us. Everything can seem like we should commit to it. So just because you can doesn't mean you can is a statement that I often make in my work to remind people that you could probably do a lot of things. And if you care, you can probably commit to a lot of causes these days, just because we are aware of the greater need that is around us. You can't help but get onto the news, the TV, your social media, and you're given lots and lots of areas to care about. And so one of the things that we actually really have to figure out are, number one, take a seasonal approach. Doing an audit of where you are in your world at the moment. How's your health? How is your mental health? What are your stress levels like? Are you in a good space? And then, around you, what are the different areas of your life looking like? Your study, your work, your family. Are there areas where they're needing your attention? They're needing not just your time, but also your focus. That's the second question. Now, once you've actually figured that out, then it's really important to know that, okay, once you've locked in those things, with the time that you then have, or the focus that you have, what of that is taken by obligation? In other words, if you have a paid job, or if you're a student and there are hours which you are particularly committed to, those need to go in. And from there, then you actually figure out, well, what time and focus do you have left? In that space, that's where we need to actually know what are the values that are important. What do we really strongly believe in? Where can we invest it? So, think about it. If you've got $100 and $100, you have to pay, excuse me, $20 of that goes to medicine, another $20 of that goes to food, another $20 of that goes to paying for your electricity, and you've got $10 left. Well, you're probably not going to buy, groceries for someone else for a whole week based on that. What would be the best way to spend that $10? What would guide that decision? And very similarly with our time and focus, that is a similar thing. But a lot of times we invest whatever is left over because of a sense of duty or obligation or guilt, or not even reflecting very deeply. So just because you can, just because you care, doesn't actually mean you can, because you might only have the equivalent of $10 left in time and focus. So what I tend to say to that is, you want to respect and honor that that's no easy decision to make. However, we very often assume that we've got to do something with it. We've got to physically act on it or commit to an activity to meet that value. So I just want to run through with you just a couple of suggestions of, how you can approach an area where you know it's very important and you want to commit to it, but you just don't have the time and the focus and the physical ability to do it. Just share with you a couple of approaches that I take. I'm a Christian, and the first focus that I can give is to pray. So there are going to be some situations that they are in my value-centered world, and I don't have any physical resources to give. I can pray. Number two, I can pay. There are going to be certain areas that I can actually commit financial resources to as a charity, to donate, to give a regular amount of money, so that other people who actually have the time and the focus and the physical capacity to give and serve in that area, I can actually pray. Number three, pay. Number three, I can partner. Is there actually somebody who is able to do this with me? Is there an organization that I can volunteer with? Is there someone within my world that I can actually partner with, so that they've got the time and the focus to be able to contribute to that space? And I can meet regularly with them, for example, to encourage them to give information or resources. Number four, process. This is the space where you actually want to focus, and you say, okay, with the $10 amount of concentration and focus and energy that I have, this is the part I'm actually going to process. I'm going to do something with it. And the fifth one is pass. There are going to be, once you kind of value respected those areas, you pray about it, you pay, you partner, you process, you can let some of these opportunities and some of these areas actually pass through, and let someone else have the opportunity, if you like, to take care of it. So just because you can doesn't mean you can, in terms of physically investing and acting on a situation. There are some other ways, however, that you can commit to. And can I suggest that once you've decided that that's the approach you're going to take, that you actually write it down? Because guilt is such an easy emotion to actually spring up on us when we are using that time, let's say, to rest or to recharge, or just, to read or have some fun. That niggling thought comes back, oh, why are you doing that? You could be doing this. You should be doing this. And just having that written down helps you to see where you've actually put the deep thought into it, where you've decided to invest, and how you've decided to invest what you care about and how you're going to do it. Makes a world of difference to just pushing back those intrusive thoughts and feelings when they do come up. All right, take care.